you thinking about running with a jogging stroller? Or are you wondering what it would be like to run with a jogging stroller? Hi, I'm Shanna and I help moms reach their running and fitness goals. Here's a little background on me. I have been running with a jogging stroller for nearly 10 years. I have experience pushing the jogging stroller up to 20 miles, and I have pushed the single and the double jogging stroller both. I absolutely love pushing the jogging stroller. It is such a great bonding experience with your child, and it's a great way to explore. Over time, I have developed many strategies to help the process of running with a jogging stroller a lot easier. And I'm going to share the best 8 stroller tips with you to make the process of running with a jogging stroller both enjoyable and easier on you. Here are my best tips for running with the jogging stroller. Tip 1, get a good quality stroller. You want a good quality jogging stroller that is going to allow your child to have a smooth ride and can handle bumpy surfaces. You want something that is very easy to push. You want a jogging stroller that has plenty of storage, nice reclining seats, and has nice size wheels. You want a jogging stroller that is going to hold up well over time. For example, my Bob jogging strollers that I've had the single one for 10 years and I've had the double one for 8 years, and they are still working very well for me. Today I usually just use the single one because my 2 older children no longer need the double stroller, and I just have one child in a stroller, and that's the one that's 10 years old. So you want to make sure that you buy a nice quality strollers. I'm a huge fan of Bob strollers. I can't say enough about them. So I also have a video on that, and it's going to break down all the features of that jogging stroller. And I will put that in the link in the description below. Tip number 2 that I have for you, adapt your schedule to your child or children's needs. You want to take your child or children out when they are going to be most content. So a good time to take your child out, for example, is nap time. Always make sure that the child or children have burned off energy and are ready for a nap before you take them out, especially if you're going to go for a little while, because children don't have much patience, and it's a great time, and it's nice. The jogging stroller is very comfortable for the child to take a nap, so it would be a great time for them to go in the stroller to get their nap time. You also want to make sure that you are going in the cooler parts of the day in the summer. So earlier in the morning would be ideal for summer months, or maybe in the evening when it cools off. That would be the best time to take your child out in the stroller. If you are running in cooler weather, it might be better to take them out during the warmest parts of the day. For example, in the middle of the day is probably going to be your best bet and your warmest part of the day to take your child out for a stroller ride. Another way you can adapt to your child's needs is maybe give them an incentive to get in the stroller. You could say, hey, after this stroller ride, we will go to the park and play. You could end the run by letting your child play at the park. Or if you want to burn some energy off before the run and you don't think they're going to be able to sit still for very long, take them to the park before the run, burn some energy off, then go on your jogging stroller ride. Tip number 3, make sure your child or children are comfortable in the stroller. Very good idea to bring snacks along. We're a pretty big fan of goldfish in my house, so I usually take goldfish along, or goldfish is usually my go-to snack for children. They're not terribly messy, and they clean up easy out of the stroller, so I do goldfish a lot for snacks. It's also advised to bring a drink for your child. I like to bring water because it's not fun to spill milk in the stroller. I think water is the best anyway, especially if it's a hotter day. You want to make sure the child's staying hydrated anyways. So water is definitely my choice of drink to take for my child in the stroller. Also bring a toy or two to help keep the child entertained. So this is kind of a last resort. I don't usually give them toys unless they are starting to get fussy. A lot of times I just like the child to enjoy nature and be able to look around. When they start to get bored, that's when I bring the toy out or toys out to help entertain them. And if it's a cooler day, make sure you bring a blanket with you so you can cover your child up. Blankets do wonders to help keep your child warm. So make sure you bring a blanket, maybe two, depending on how cold it is outside. So make sure you have that on hand in cooler weather. Also make sure you are dressing your child properly in the stroller. So in cooler months, make sure you're dressing them warm in layers. Make sure they're wearing long sleeves, pants, also some type of jacket or coat depending on the weather. Bring hats. Make sure they're wearing a hat, gloves, anything that's going to keep them warm. So make sure you have that kind of stuff on hand during the cooler months. So in the summertime, you can dress them in very cool outfits. Like if they're a baby, you could dress them in a onesie or just anything, tank top and shorts. Those would be ideal for warmer weather if it's really warm outside. Other things you can do to make the stroller ride even better for your child is you can buy additional parts that stroller companies sell. A lot of times, like for example, the Bob strollers, they offer snack trays that you can buy for additional charge. That's kind of a nice feature. I actually didn't do the snack tray. I made it work without it, but that's an added feature you can have where the child can have a snack right in front of them on a little, more of like a little tabletop. And it also kind of keeps them in a little bit more in the stroller. So you can do a snack tray. You can buy some extra storage for your handlebars so you can add your snacks in there, or even your accessories like your water bottle or a bottle or a cup for your child. Any of those things. There's all sorts of things you can add to the stroller. But if you are running in the rain or in the colder weather, or even a sunny weather, they have like a cover to help protect from the rain and the wind. It's like a rain and wind cover. So that might be a feature that you want to get for colder or rainy weather. So it's nice to have on hand just in case you need it. They have a sunshade shield usually that you can put over the stroller to give them extra shade. So those are some additional things that you can do to make your child comfortable. Tip number 4 that I have for you is start slow. When you are starting to run with the jogging stroller, start slow with it. Don't put any pressure on yourself. It does take some time to get used to running with the stroller. You might want to start walking and jogging when you are running with your child, or just start with shorter runs. So that might be something that you want to consider. And then over time, as you build your endurance with the stroller, you can take them in longer and longer runs. You also want to see how well your child is going to do on the runs. That is why I suggest keeping it short in the beginning and then gradually build up as your child and you get used to how long the child's in the stroller and how long you want to push the stroller. So let's face it, it is harder to run with a stroller. It does take more work, but it is a pretty good core workout. So you are getting the added bonus of working your core at the same time. So it is harder. Know that it is very rewarding to take your child or children out in the stroller. Another suggestion is you don't have to take your child on the whole entire run that you are running. You could have a babysitter watch your child for a little bit, and then maybe you can end with the stroller, or you could start with the stroller. You can start your run by running with the stroller, maybe run a mile or two with the stroller, and then you could take them back home, and the other parent or a babysitter or grandparent could watch the child while you finish your run up. So you could do that sort of thing, or you can just maybe start your run and take them toward the last couple miles with you. Either way, that's just a suggestion if you want to get used to the fact of running with a stroller, or if you just want some of the time by yourself to run. Either way, all great suggestions that you can do to help you build upon how much time that you want to push a stroller and how your child can tolerate the stroller. Tip number 5 that I have for you is stay closer to home, especially when you're starting out running with the stroller. You could do loops around your neighborhood and just maybe like do a mile loop or a couple mile loop, just kind of repeat it. That would be my suggestion when you run with the stroller, because you never know when your child is going to get fussy, especially when they're not used to it. So you might want to do that as a suggestion. It is essentially important, especially when you are starting out, to stay closer to home, because your child might not cooperate that day, and if you have another parent at home or an adult or a babysitter, grandparent, they could help watch that child until you get back. So you can always have a backup handy, just in case it doesn't work out when you are just starting out. Tip number 6 that I have for you, make sure you are still running with good proper running form. You want to keep your running form normal like you would without the stroller. So very important to keep normal proper running form. Don't hunch over. It's sometimes easy to hunch over when you get tired running with a stroller. It's easy to do, especially when you are getting tired with the stroller. Make sure you are keeping good posture to make sure that you are running with one hand on the stroller and you're swinging the other hand. It's best to alternate maybe every other mile. So maybe use your right hand at the beginning, switch to the left hand the next mile, and you could alternate that so you can be equal on each side when you're running. So it's just important to keep good, proper running form when you are running with a stroller. Tip number 7 that I have for you is don't focus on your pace when you are running with a stroller. You're just naturally going to slow down with a stroller. You're at least going to slow down at least 30 seconds probably per mile running with a stroller. So just accept the fact that you will run slower and don't beat yourself up because it is harder to run with a stroller. It is a lot harder actually. So make sure you don't beat yourself up over the pace. It is okay to slow down. So if you are going to a race and you decide you're going to push the stroller, or that is your only option to go to the race, you have to push the stroller. Sometimes races will allow you to have the stroller, especially the smaller events like small town, hometown events. A lot of times they'll let you have the stroller in the race. But if you're going to a bigger race, bigger city race, a lot of times they'll say no strollers of any type, especially if it's like a half marathon or a marathon. They don't usually want you to have a stroller in the race. But if you do push a stroller in the race, just have fun with it. Don't worry about getting a PR. More than likely, because it's going to be harder. It's not impossible to get a PR, but it's going to be a lot harder to get a PR. So don't beat yourself up if you don't do your personal best in a race. Keep that in mind when you're running with a stroller. Tip number 8 that I have for you is have fun. It is simply important to make the experience of running with a stroller fun. So you want to make it fun for you, make it fun for your child. You can play games with your child. Believe it or not, if you're running a slower pace, you probably are going to be able to hold a conversation. So you can play games like I Spy. Like, I Spy, I see something green. And your child could point that out, if they are old enough to, that is. But that is an example of a game that you could play with your child to make it more entertaining for them. Or there's all sorts of other games that you can play. But that's just one popular one that comes to my mind that you could play with your child, that a lot of children, preschool age children, really like that game. So that is something you could play with your kids. If your kids are younger, and sometimes the preschool age likes it too, you'd sing to your child, do little kid songs with them. They will enjoy that also. So you can do some really fun things with them. Talk to them. Talk about what you see, that sort of thing. Just make it fun for your child. They're gonna really cherish those memories, and you definitely will cherish those memories because you will remember how special it was to take your child in a jogging stroller. Because I've been doing this for 10 years, and I find running with a jogging stroller never gets old. I love it. I love pushing kids in a stroller. I just absolutely love it. I fell in love with it. It's going to be so sad to me when I don't have anyone to push anymore, but maybe one day I'll just have to get a jogging stroller to push grandkids in or whatever. But until then, I might be sad for a few years. But it is really fun to push a kid in a stroller. Just make it fun. Have fun with it. No, it's just so temporary. It's so temporary in life to be able to do this. So enjoy while it lasts. So you know, by pushing your child in the stroller, just think, pushing your child in the stroller sets such a wonderful example for them. It shows them the importance of getting outdoors, getting exercise, and how fun it can be, how fun movement and exercise and running can be. So it shows them, sets a good example of maybe getting them interested in the sport as well. If you are a new runner or are thinking about running your first 5K, I wanted to let you know that I have a free 8-week training plan to help you run your first 5K. I will link that in the description below, and you can get that free guide to set you on a path to be able to run your first 5K. So the goal is to help you run 3.1 miles without stopping. So I have a very doable training plan. As long as you can walk 30 minutes, you can build upon running up to your first 5K. So highly recommend downloading that so you can reach that 5K goal. If you are looking for a jogging stroller, make sure you check out my video about the Bob jogging stroller review that I did. So check that out. See if you might be interested in the Bob strollers. I love the strollers. I have a single and a double one. I mainly just use the single now because I only have one kid in a stroller, but I can't say anything bad about them. I've been using these for 10 years. Check it out. See if it might be right for you. Go ahead, check that video out, and it will break down all the features of the stroller. Also, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me. So I will talk to you next time.